40 super hit Turkish series available with English subtitles on YouTube. Turkish drama industry has progressed many folds in the recent years. Turkish TV and web series and movies have a huge fan base and people really like their work. The unique stories, creative plots, and exceptional production has made them really famous around the world. Turkish actors and actresses have huge fan base and they are one of the top followed people on social media platforms. In this video we will share a list of 40 super hit Turkish series that are available with English subtitles all together on one YouTube channel titled Turkish Series. The link is available in the description of this video. These series are full of romance, action and comedy. You will definitely find something for your watch list. 40. House of Lies. Cihan is a successful professor of law. He is married to a lawyer Aylin and has 3 children. The perfect life of Cihan turns upside down when he cannot resist the beauty and attraction of Ezra and has an affair with her. 39. The North Star First Love. Yildiz has loved Kuzey for as long as she has known. But when Kuzey goes to Istanbul to study at university, he forgets all his words and gets married to another woman. 20 years later, he experienced the pain that Yildiz experienced. He was abandoned by the woman he loved. 38. At the end of the night, it's a love triangle where Ahmed loves Majid, but Majida loves Ahmed's elder brother Kazim. Kazim also has feelings for her but he is already married. The drama has various twists and turns. 37. Children of Sisters. Umran and Ame are sisters with opposing characters. Umran is naive, silent, and self-sacrificing. Ame, on the other hand, is ambitious, jealous, and self-seeking. They live in a small village. Both sisters fall in love with a young Dr. Yildirim who comes to their village. The lives of these 3 young persons change dramatically. 36. Black Money Love. Umer and Elif comes close to each other after an accident. Elif's father and Omer's fiancée are killed together. Omer, who is a police officer, conducts the investigation during which Elif and Omer fall in love with each other. Later it is revealed that the killer is Omer's brother, which causes many challenges in the lives of both families. 35. 20 minutes. The story revolves around the husband and wife, Melik and Ali. Melik is imprisoned for a murder charge and is sentenced to 20 years in prison. The drama focuses on Ali's efforts to save his wife from this punishment. 34. Bride of Istanbul. Shariah, a young and beautiful singer, becomes wife of Faruk Boran, who is the elder son of the famous family of Bizra. Faruk's mother is very traditional in thoughts, so it's hard for her to accept Shariah as her daughter-in-law. She gives hard time to Shariah, but Shariah, who is very good-hearted, wins her heart at the end. 33. Strawberry Smell. Asli works at a pastry shop while Burak is a famous womanizer belonging to a rich family. Asli loses her job due to Burak and is forced to work in a hotel owned by Burak, and their lives intersects again for a beautiful love story to happen. 32. Accidental Love. It's a beautiful love story. The paths of 2 young people, who are chasing happiness with their hopes and dreams, cross unexpectedly after an accident. 31. Lost Years. 3 children, Ali, Iso, and Ismar, whose paths are tied in the orphanage, are separated from each other at a young age. 20 years later, when fate brings them together again, each of them has become passengers of different lives. 30. Kurt Said ve Sura. The series is based on the true story of an army officer who falls in love with a Russian girl. It is set in World War I. Kurt Said is an officer of the Tsar and comes from a military background. Sura is the daughter of a noble Russian family. Said's family wants him to marry a Turkish girl and they aren't happy with Sura, their son's choice. Despite this, Said stays with Sura, which creates many challenges in their lives. 29. My Left Side. It's an intense story with Sarah taking care of her mother along with job and studies. She is on a scholarship in a reputed university where she comes in contact with Salim, the heir of the wealthy Kutlase family. Salim is criticized by his father all the time for his casual attitude. The lives of Sarah and Salim will change meeting each other. 28. Forgive Me. Osman Kozan is a businessman who came from Kayseri years ago and became one of the richest people in Ankara. The eldest son Cüneyt is actually the backbone of the family. He manages the company, responding to all his father's harshness with meekness. Cüneyt, who had an unpleasant relationship a few years ago, is distrustful of women. But everything changes with Faraday. Her mother's distant relatives come home. 27. Islar Guklar. It's a comedy drama with 3 actors, Ahmet, Murat, and Saadi, are working as presenters on documentary programs called Profession Stories in order to raise the money needed to make their dream film. But the ratings of this program are not going well. For this reason, they dedicate themselves to a difficult business life both in order for their programs to reach more ratings and to shoot the film of their dreams. 26. Island Tale. The story of the series revolves around a passionate love that will arise between Haziran and Poyraz. With its warm story and romantic atmosphere, the series will impress the audience with its romantic story and magical island atmosphere. Haziran is visiting an island on a business trip where she meets Poyraz. They do not get along well and Poyraz tries to get rid of her with the rest of tourist convoy. Meanwhile, Haziran gets the information her boss needs. While she hurries up to go back to Istanbul, she missed the ferry. Now both have to stay in the island, which brings many more surprises. 25. Karadai. The story takes place in the 1970s. Mahir Kara works in a shoe store. His father, Natsif, is a good man respected in the neighborhood, less for dishonest and criminal people. On a special day for Mahir, Natsif is charged with the murder of a general. After the trial, he is found guilty and sentenced to death. Mahir believes in her father's innocence. He vows to find the real killer and hatches a plan. Create a new identity and pose as a lawyer. The search for justice is complicated when he approaches the judge Faraday, who has the luck of his father in her hands. 24. Full Moon. Ferhat Aslan is a smart and successful businessman, a born leader, and a disciplined person. Nazli Pinar is a young culinary student who is hired as Ferhat's private chef and must deal with his specific requirements and rules for preparing his meals. Outspoken, independent, and free-spirited, Nazli initially clashes with Ferhat, but the two gradually form a friendship and flirtation. Things are complicated when Ferhat's musician brother-in-law, Deniz, falls in love with Nazli. 23. Dila Hanım. It tells the story of a woman who falls in love with her husband's murderer. Dila is a beautiful bride of Baratsoglu family. Her life turns upside down when her lovely husband is killed by the older son of the Karadali family, Riza. Dila swears to take revenge of her husband and swears to kill Riza. When Riza meets Dila, he immediately falls for her without knowing that she comes from Baratsoglu family. At the same time, Dila falls in love with Riza, but she does not know that Riza is the killer of her ex-husband. 22. Waiting for You. On March 13, 1992, the Aaron family was dispersed by a big earthquake. Kadir Aaron survives, but everything is upside down for him with her father dead and mother married to another person. Kadir cannot hold on to life again. Something is always missing. Until he sees Layla's. 21. Happily Ever After. Layla is a beautiful girl who is dumped at her wedding day. While she is dreaming to get married to her lovely boyfriend Sarp, she is left alone without any explanation. With the suggestion of her friend, Layla starts to work as a wedding planner and keeps herself busy. Even though she states that she has forgotten everything, she still loves Sarp. On the other hand, her mother tries to find another boyfriend for her. 20. The Pigeon. The series tells the story of Zuluf, who was thrown into a well in a deserted place where there are not even birds flying. While she was waiting for her death, she was rescued by a young man named Kenan who appeared in front of her as a miracle. But when she discovers who Kenan is, she will get the shock of her life. The crime that was committed 15 years ago will return, and the blood that was shed will affect the two families until love enters their lives. 19. High Society. Kerem and Mert are like brothers despite the fact that Kerem's parents works at the rich Mert's family. One day, Mert's grandmother asks him to manage a grocery store to learn the basics of their business before becoming the CEO of the family business. Mert make an offer to Kerem and ask him to manage the grocery store for 1 month and make it profitable. In return, Mert would give Kerem enough money so that he could start his own business. This plan brings many ups and downs to their lives. 18. Black Pearl. Hazel and Kenan are living a happy life together in a small coastal town in the Aegean. But everything will change with Viral's arrival in the town and risking everything to get Hazel. Their lives will be turned upside down. 17. Firefly. Barish is a very successful, attractive, divorce lawyer while Asli is a beautiful young girl who is full of life, intelligent, and entertaining, but must work as a taxi driver to help her family. One day Barish learns that his car has been involved in a car accident in which a little girl is injured. Asli, who is the aunt of the injured girl, is looking for the culprit. The life of Barish and Asli changes dramatically after they come across to each other. 16. Ifat. Ifat is deeply in love with the handsome Jamil, who works out of the local taxi station. She dreams that one day he will propose to her. But their relationship must remain a secret. But Jamil does not want to marry Ifit as he dreams of becoming rich and one day leaves Ifit even after knowing Ifit is pregnant with his child. There comes the real twist in the story. 15. Bittersweet Life. The story revolves around Hayat and her sister Ghost. They live a simple life. Hayat is a teacher at a high-class private school and Ghost is a student there. They have a modest life whereas all the students at that private school have a wealthy life. One day Ghost's boyfriend Karai tries to rape her. This has led to Hayat's radical decision of getting transferred to a public school. The change is very difficult for them to cope with. 14. Perfect Groom. Mlike lies to her family in Germany about her work, house and fiancé Mehmet. Mehmet is a doctor and the fiancé of her boss Iner. When her family comes to Istanbul, she blackmails Mehmet to go along with her plans to not expose her lies. 13. My Life. Hayat, who came to Istanbul with her father for her dreams, participates in the fashion competition of Harrisaglu Holding owner Yilmaz finds himself in a circle of revenge when his father's old enemy turns up. Yilmaz's unexpected marriage proposal, who wants to be a big family, will have a bomb effect on everyone. 12. Promise to You. Elif Karaca is a crime stories presenter while Omer is a homicide commissioner. Both have the same passion, the rule of justice. They cross paths due to Isa's case. Isa is in coma as she was thrown from the terrace of a hotel. Elif uncovers the culprit and tries to arrest him, Bora Demirciglu. Elif and Omer will actually solve a family mystery that has been left behind. 11. Early Bird. Sanem darts working in an advertising agency to avoid getting married by her family. The manager of that company is the handsome, intelligent and cultured boy, named Khan. Since Sanem always manages to get into trouble, this situation attracts Khan's attention and a great love story begins. 10. The Game of My Destiny. Asiye's life turns upside down with an unexpected disaster. Asiye takes her children and leaves Amasya. On her way to Istanbul, Asiye meets Mahir, who helps them on the way even though he doesn't know them. A new life awaits Asiye. 9. Hiding Our Mother. Handan is a young mother of 3 with the dream of living comfortably. Handan believes that the only way to achieve her dream is to marry the right person. Having given up on being a gold digger with 3 children, Handan's life changes when her path crosses with Dunder and Zareen Demir. 8. Mrs. Fazilet and her daughters. After her husband's death, Mrs. Fazilet and her 2 daughters maintain a modest life in Istanbul while Fazilet continues to dream of becoming rich. Determined to settle her anger and misery, she uses her daughters on the path to money and fame. Believing that she will be famous one day, Fazilet drags her youngest daughter Iki from place to place. On that journey, they encounter the wealthy and well-respected Egemen family. Their entrance into the Egemen family's life will not only change Iki's but also her older sister Hazan's life forever. 7. Beautiful Villager. Gul is in a great depression because she is tired of the lively life in Istanbul and also because he is separated from her lover Khan. For this reason, she comes to a small town to live and starts living with Sultan, an old lady, who considers her a grandchild. She's got her heart set on Cemal in the village. Gul, who was raised as an urban woman, embarks on a brand new love affair in the village. 6. Lost Years. 3 children, Ali, Isel, and Ismar, whose paths are tied in the orphanage, are separated from each other at a young age. 20 years later, when fate brings them together again, each of them has a different life. 5. Heavy novel New World. There is great joy and excitement in the Cholera district. Gili Salih's son Salih Kunyar is released from prison after 5 years. Salih is the new hero that Cholera is waiting for. It's a nice and light family series. 4. Mother. Zeynep Gunesh gets a job as a temporary teacher at a local elementary school in city of Bandırma. She soon realizes one of her students, Melek, is suffering from child abuse from her mother, Sule, and mother's boyfriend, Cengiz. When Zeynep realizes that no one is there to help Melek, she takes matters into her own hands by faking Melek's death, kidnapping her, taking her to Istanbul and attempting to become her new mother. Due to its intense story, the series is a must-watch. 3. Aware. Ferret, a flirtious person, keeps 3 girlfriends and handles them all skillfully. Until he met Sarah. The moment Bursak, Nihal, and Sarar realize that they have been decoyed by Ferret, they get together and think of a plan to tame Ferret. There comes Sarah, who does not trust men, advises the girls to take revenge. She makes a plan to break Ferret's heart. But there's something she doesn't know. Sarah will be the main role in the revenge that will be taken from the flirtatious ferret. 2. Hear Me, Akeem and Layla are two young teenagers who are as close as sisters. One day a car hits Layla and the culprit flees the crime scene, making his way towards a prestigious school and hiding his car in the parking lot. When news spreads that a girl will spend the rest of her life in a wheelchair because of someone from the school, the principal decides to give scholarships to 3 students from Layla's neighborhood, to bury the bad news. Akeem, Bakir, and Isa are chosen to start their fresh student life in the city's most prestigious school, but they soon understand that their life is actually about to get harder. 1. The Yard. Dennis has been subjected to violence from her husband for a long time and is arrested for allegedly shooting her husband during a fight. Dennis, who is in prison, only wants to hear from her daughter. But in prison, she is caught in the middle of the tension between two powerful women who are hostile to each other, Azra and Kudret. Both women want to draw Dennis to their side. Dennis's only wish is to be reunited with her daughter as soon as possible without any trouble or crime. The series is loved for its emotional scenes and intense story. Hope you liked the video and made the selection of your next Turkish series to watch.